Welcome to another lesson on Pure 1, Chapter 4.2. So last time we looked at how to sketch your cubic graphs. Remember the three basic steps for sketching, cubic graphs or quadratic graphs. So the steps are, let's have a look. Step 1, determine the shape of the graph. If it's a quadratic, it's a U shape, N shape, or cubic graph. It will be like a roller coaster. Um, and then in second step, we let x equal 0 and find the y-intercept. And then the third step is to let y equal 0 and find the roots. Okay. Then we look into, so I'm not going to go through cubic graphs again. So if you want to go back to the previous lesson. So today lesson is about is about quartic graphs, which is a polynomial. We mentioned about what polynomial is. Polynomial means expression with more than two terms. So in here, we can see there are five terms in here with the biggest power being 4, means quartic, you know. So the notes are really we need to determine the shape. So if A is positive, so what's A again? So A is this coefficient here. If the coefficient of x to the power 4, the biggest power, is positive, then the shape looks like a W, or a little bit rude, is like a bomb, a bomb shape. So the way to remember is remember in quadratic, if it's a positive, so in a quadratic, so x squared, in a quadratic x squared, we start with u, right? If it's a x cubed, we start from the bottom. So you can see the opening start from top and the bottom. Now, if it's a negative with x squared, we start from the bottom, like n. With x cubed, since we start from the bottom from x squared, so x cubed to the opposite, we start from the top. Now, x to the power 4 is the reverse of x cubed. Therefore, it's the same as an x squared. It's like, think of it like a two u's. Okay, x squared, x to the power 4 is like square of square. So u. All right. Then you can imagine if a is negative, this a is negative, then it looks like this, like a little mountain. Or people like me who have a little bit more weird imagination, is like a knuckle. There's the pinky, and that's knuckle. Yeah, knuckle. Yep, there's arm. Right, there's a hand. Right, so right, anyway, let's go back. Right, so let's look at example. Okay. Right, example, basic. Sketch a graph of y equals x plus 1, x minus 3, x plus 2, x plus 6. First step, again, the shape. Now, if we try to expand all the bracket, you'll see it's a positive x to the power 4. Therefore, the shape is going to be like a W. Okay. And then let x equal 0. So when x equals 0, then y equals to 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 times minus 3 times 2 times 6. Put it in a calculator, okay, it'll be negative 36. And when y equals 0, then you have, when y equals 0, then you have 0 equal 4 brackets multiply each other. So each bracket equals 0. Now, these steps, you can skip it later on, obviously, if you know what you could do. But for the sake of completion of the notes, I'm going to show you all the steps in between. So I'm going to let y equal 0. So 0 equals x plus 1 times x minus 3 times x plus 2 times x plus 6. Therefore, x plus 1 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0, or x plus 6 equals 0. Therefore, x equals to minus 1, x equals 3, x equals to minus 2, or x equals to minus 6. Obviously, you can just write the last step, x equals minus 1, you can see it through. So x equals minus 1, 3, minus 2, minus 6. The shape being a W. Okay, so I'm going to sketch a graph now. So pencil, again, and a ruler, if you want to use that, make the axis really neat. Actually, that doesn't look like a straight line. 90-degree, yeah. Okay, right, so what do? Well, first of all, take note of where the graph is going to cross the x-axis. We have two negative values of x. That means it's going to cross the negative side twice, and then cross the, oh, actually, three of them, sorry. I need to go to Specsavers. I couldn't read. I couldn't count properly. So we've got 1, 2, 3 being negative value. That means we know it's going to be hitting the negative side 3 times and then 1 time on the positive side. So I can almost just draw it now. So start from the top, go up, come back down, then come up on the other side. Okay. And then here we have minus 6, which is the more negative value, minus 2, minus 1, and this being the 3. It looks a bit weird, the shape, it's not a perfect W, but, it's a sketch. We're not computers, we're not robots. So we just need to know how to sketch it roughly. That's why it's sketch. And then the y-axis is negative, so we know negative 36 in here, so we know it's correct. Okay. If you've got a graphical calculator, you can put it in as well, and you can see if your graph is correct. I'm not going to do tutorial on how to use a graphical calculator. If you want to, you can go on YouTube and search other videos on how to use a graphical calculator, sketch graph. Right. So next, okay, practice. Pause the video. Have a go at the question. When you're ready for the answer, you can press play. Here's the final answer. We have two negative values of x. Again, the shape, x equals 0, y equals 0. Make sure you put in a calculator. You get a positive 12. Or actually, I forgot to put 12 in here. So that's the answer. Now, some students might be asking, sir, what about the peak in here? Does it have to be on this side or this side? If I draw it a bit differently, I still hit the y-axis in a positive and hit the x-axis twice in both negative and positive. I might have a different graph. So what I'm trying to say here is, what if your graph looks like this? You can see the peak is on the negative side than the positive side, but you still have two negative values in here, and then the y-axis is still y-intercept is still positive. So everything looks the same, all the values hit correctly. So the answer is both answers are correct because it's a sketch, unless we learn how to find a turning point of these graphs. Otherwise, there's no way for us to determine where the peak or the turning point is. So both of them are correct. Okay. Right, let's move on. So next, what about double root? Let me ask you a quick question. Do you remember what happened? What's the buzzword or what's the phrase when in a cubic equation, what happened to double root? Touch and turn. Hopefully you do remember that. So if it's a cubic graph, if we have a repeated root or double root, we touch it, we touch the axis, and we turn. Sorry, we touch the root and we turn. Now for quartic graph is similar. Touch and turn. Okay, so touch and turn. So let's write down in here. So touch and turn. Right, so let's see how we can deal with this. So step 1, again, shape. Okay, x squared means positive times x squared is going to be positive x squared, x to the power 4, so we know it's going to be a W shape. When x equals 0, then y equals to 0, 1 squared times 0 plus 36, which literally gives us 36. When y equals 0, actually, let me double check my answer. Yeah, 36. And I can't trust my mental maths. When y equals 0, then 0 equals x plus 1 squared times x squared plus 12x plus 36. Two brackets equal 0, so each bracket equals 0, or x squared plus 12x plus 36 equals 0. This one is a double root, so x equals minus 1 is double root, so we double, or repeat it if you like to use a word. English is not too important in here. And then in here, we need to factorize it, solve it, whether using a calculator or manually. Again, remember, you do not get any marks for showing how to solve it. So in here, I'm good. Just write it down actually. X equals, minus 6. Actually, this is another double root. So double root means touch and turn. So this is how we draw the graph. Okay. Right. Again, have a brainstorm where the graph is going to cross the x-axis. Minus 1, minus 6. That means it's going to touch the x-axis on negative side twice. Okay. Right. So shape is like this. Will come from top. We touch because double root and turn. Come down, touch and turn. So here we've got minus 6, minus 1, and 36. It works perfectly. And that's the answer. Right? Touch and turn. So your turn. Okay. I think it meant to be question 2 because the previous practice question. Anyway, practice question 1. Pause the video, have a go at the question. When you're ready for the answer, you can press play. Here's my masterpiece. Right, so shape is negative, okay, because when we expand this bracket, we get x squared, x to the power 4, but the minus in front makes it negative. So negative means M shape. And when x equals 0, be careful putting in a calculator. Make sure you put it carefully. You get negative 64. What I will do is I will actually put this whole thing, what you see literally what you see in here, put in a calculator, let the calculator deal with the sign altogether. Make sure you just put the brackets in the correct position and let the calculator deal with all the negatives, you know. And then y equals 0, when y equals 0, the negative, to deal with it, you can multiply both sides by -1, so we cancel a negative. So you can see negative just disappear. And then each bracket equals 0, so x equals 4, double root because of the squared, x equals -2, double root, and then double root means touch and turn, so touch and turn. All right, and that's the answer. Moving on, triple root. Okay, triple root. So the previous one is, okay, remember, Lenga. Okay, so the keyword, the buzzword in triple root is Lenga. All right. So let's have a look. Sketch y equals da, da, da. So step 1, again, shape. Okay, maybe you can tell me, just like Dora the Explorer. Can you tell me what's the shape? Yes, you're right. It's an M shape because of x, because of a minus in the front in here, makes everything negative, makes the x to the power 4 negative. Next, when x equals 0, then y equals to negative times 1 times -4 times x squared 0 minus 0 plus 16. I plug the whole thing in calculator, and it should give me a 64 again. Okay, 64. Okay, when y equals 0, then 0 equals to negative x plus 1 times x minus 4 times x squared minus 8x plus 16. From these two answers, we can tell x equals to -1 or x equals to 4. Again, a minus, if you multiply both sides by -1, the negative in the front just disappears. Or this one, x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 0. Put in a calculator and let the calculator solve it. And you should get, what should you get? Oh, x minus 4 squared. So that x equals 4 or 4. So you can see x equals 4 means a triple root. So a triple root. Okay. So triple root means when x equals 4, we have to linger on there. We'll see how we can draw out. Okay. Exciting. Right. So again, plan in your head, okay, how the graph could look like. So it's like an M shape. You can use a pencil and do a little sketch, you know. We cross the x-axis and a -1. So that's one root in here, and there's a root in there, roughly. Okay, so that's one root in this side, one root in that side. So when the shape is like this, so therefore it should look like something like this, something. Okay. No, actually it shouldn't because it only cross it once. So cross it here. So cross a -1. We start from both negative. So definitely cross the -1 here. And then now we can't come back down in here because there's no root in here. The other time we can cross the x-axis is when x equals 4. So what do? Well, if we come down in here, then there's no way coming back. So the keyword with triple root is linger. So we go up, okay, and then we linger and go down. So I'm going to cross this out a little bit, make it look a bit neater. So go linger and drop. So if you use a microscope in there, you see what happens is here and linger and go down. All right. So that's the 4. All right. So that's what it looks like. Okay. It doesn't look like really M shape because we don't have another dip, mainly because of triple root. Okay. So triple root means linger. Okay. And we have to put a y intercept in, which is 64, y and x. All right. Your turn. Okay. Pause the video. Have a go. When you're ready for the answer, you can press play. This is the answer. Okay, it looks a bit weird. So hopefully you got these numbers correct with being x equals -2 the triple root. We start from top. Triple root means we're linger. Okay, if you don't know where to go, linger means we have to continue with a journey. So continue. Okay, linger and then continue, but we can't go up until we hit another root, which is at 3/2. So we lingers, go down, go up. Okay, right. Next, quadruple root. Okay, quadruple root. So quadruple root means linger and turn. Linger and turn. Okay, right. So see how it goes. Again, shape. It's a U shape. Sorry, W shape because x to the power 4 is positive. And then when x equals 0, y equals to minus 5 to the power 4, which is mental maths. Just kidding. 65 calculator. When y equals 0, then 0 equals to x minus 5 to the power 4, fourth root on both sides, and then you get 0 plus 5, so x equals 5. This is quadruple root. Okay, so quadruple, can't spell, root. Okay, quadruple. So what it means is, we sketch a graph, it could look like this. So linger and turn. So we start from positive, we start the U shape. Let me use different color. Okay, so come down here. There's only one root, so minus 5 minus, sorry, x equals 5, so x equals 5, and then go up like this, just like that. You know, yeah, almost like a quadratic, but it's not the same as quadratic. Okay, so x equals 5, and yeah, that's the answer. Oh, one thing I forgot is to obviously put the x's back in. And one more thing, the y-intercept 65. Right, yeah, your turn. Easy peasy, quadruple easy. Right, so pause the video, have a go. When you're ready for the answer, you can press play. This is the answer. It's almost identical to the other graph that we drew in example. Okay, so yeah, and that's the end of lesson. Thank you.